All right, we're going to have a Bible time first. And today's Bible time topic is find satisfaction. Does anybody remember sort of what we talked about last week, which is the book of Ecclesiastes? Does anybody remember who has written the book of Ecclesiastes? Any brave souls in this room? Solomon. I think I heard Solomon, right? And this book really contains the wisdom of King Solomon, as well as his struggles and his imperfections as well. So Solomon really wanted to find the meaning and the satisfaction for his life. And the first thing that he tried to do was to pursue lots and lots of pleasure. Pleasure is what makes you feel good, right? So he tried all the good things in life, and he was in the perfect position of pursuing anything and everything that is good in this life, such as the best food. He was able to visit the most beautiful places, and he denied himself of no pleasure. And after indulging in so much pleasure of what this world can give him, you know what Solomon said? He said, it's meaningless. Let's read verse 1 together. 1, 2, 3. I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. After trying all the pleasures in his life, he says it was meaningless. And now he wanted to try some other things of giving him satisfaction. And he tried to build great projects and great buildings. And he thought, if I can build the biggest and coolest things of this world, surely my heart is going to find satisfaction. So verse 4, it says, I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. Imagine you are like Elon Musk, who has built Tesla, and you are like Jeff Bezos, who has built Amazon, and you have built the greatest things on this world in the hopes of those things that you have made and built giving you the satisfaction. But guess what? Solomon says, even after building the greatest things in the world, his heart was not satisfied. So he has tried everything that might give him satisfaction. And in verse 24, he sort of kind of gives up, but he sort of finds a little bit of hope and a little bit of satisfaction in something. So let's read verse 24 together. 1, 2, 3. So I decided there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God. Up until, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, only thing positive that is sort of talking about is, in the middle of 24, it says, to find satisfaction in work. Do you find satisfaction in what you do? Many people don't find satisfaction. As I go to work every week, every Monday, I sort of dread going to work. And when I look in the eyes of my coworkers, I could feel that there are only few people who find satisfaction in their work, but most other people, they work because they have to, right? I have, family members to feed, and that's sort of the motivation that I have for going to work. And Solomon said, human heart is really, really difficult to find satisfaction. And in the thing that he was able to just find a little bit of satisfaction is those people who become satisfied in their work. But I'm not just talking about the work that we do, the jobs that we have, the things that we do out of, for enjoyment and pleasure. But Solomon realized that there is meaning in work. And we now call it some work that God has given us. This is what I believe. I believe that everyone is called into God's work. We're not just working to make money. We're not just working to build great things and to get the applause for ourselves. But God has given us specific types of works for his work. And Solomon said, if I can find that, if I can find the meaning and satisfaction through the work that God has given me, that would be awesome. But it seems like Solomon didn't really find that. He was able to find a little bit of satisfaction in his work, but he wasn't sure completely what God specifically wanted for him. And now let's turn to Jesus and let's look at what Jesus wants to say regarding living our lives doing God's work. So let's turn to John chapter 4, verse 34, and let's read it together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. My fruit, said Jesus, is to do the will of him who sent me to finish his work. Jesus has this awareness that he's not just living, that Jesus is sent by God. That means you and I are sent here in this place at this time by God, and there is this work that we must do that is entrusted by God. Do you know what I would call it? I would call it a mission of our lives, a specific calling, specific work that you are called into. And in Korean, I would call this 사명. This is a rather difficult word. If I say, oh, you have a mission in your life, many people are going to be lost. What is our mission? And do you guys know what your mission for your life is? And I'm going to give you guys 2 things that will sort of guide you into the mission that God has given you. And number 1, it is your gift. Here's what I believe. I believe that God has given every single one of us a special gift. Have you ever seen a person with a gift? This is something that you cannot easily teach or you cannot easily learn. You just have it. It comes natural to you. And I believe that everyone has a gift. And if you don't know what your gifts are, it's probably that you haven't found it yet. But God has given people a gift so that God can accomplish his work in you. And the other thing is passion. God has given people different passions, and I would say you follow your gift and you follow your passion. And passion is what makes your heart burn. You really care about that thing, and you are really passionate about such things, and that is likely to be a mission, a calling for your life. Let's read Luke 24:32. It says, let's read it together. They said to each other, didn't our hearts burn within us as he talked with us on the road and explained the scriptures to us? As the disciples had an encounter with Jesus, this is what the disciples said. Didn't our hearts burn within us? For them, following Jesus, learning about the scriptures, and teaching the teachings of Jesus was their calling, was their mission. And it says their hearts were burning within them. And this is what our Lord wants us to do. He wants us to identify the specific mission, the kind of work that he wants us to do, and he wants us to find it. And how do we find it? Through 2 things, through your gift and through your passions. So this week, I want you guys to spend some time asking yourselves, what is the mission that God has given me, and do I know what it is? And if you don't know what it is, let's ask God to show us as we follow our passion and as we follow our gift. And I hope and pray that God is going to start to show you what your mission in your life is. And through that mission, your heart is going to be satisfied.